So the candidates who have successfully completed their application process of phase 1 must proceed to make their preferences for program and colleges. The candidates who have yet not completed phase 1 can do so now and proceed to phase 2. Basically, you're supposed to register yourself for phase 1, that is for the CSAS process, that is Common Seat Allocation System, wherein you will be registering yourself. Now, registering yourself is not the sole idea. It is basically you showing your interest to get admissions into the various colleges of Delhi University that fall under Delhi University. So, the first phase is that you have to register yourself. If you have not yet registered yourself, you need to do it now, because only when you've completed phase 1, you have saved phase 1, you have registered yourself for phase 1, only then can you begin the phase 2 of the process, wherein you're supposed to fill in your preferences for different colleges as well as courses. So be very sure about it. Make sure that if still now you have not registered yourself for phase 1 for the CSAS process, make sure that you do it now. Another important point, if you're somebody who did not appear for the CUET exam, CUET UG 22 exam this year, you are not eligible for this entire process. That means you cannot get admissions into the different colleges, into the different courses of Delhi University this year. So CUET is like the basic criteria, the basic thing that you need to do to get admissions into Delhi University this year. So as I was discussing, the press release for phase 2 of CSAS UG 2022. So you would have to complete your phase 1 first, and then you can proceed to phase 2. Now the deadline for phase 1 and phase 2, that means completion of the registration as well as the preference filling, will continue till 10th of October. So the deadline for both of them is similar, right? So there is no rush for you to do everything very quickly. I mean, of course, you need to register yourself for phase 1, do that as soon as you can, because your phase 2 is going to take lot more amount of time, because you're supposed to fill in your courses, you're supposed to fill in your preferences, you're supposed to fill in your colleges, the desired campuses that you want to get admissions into. Like if I talk about Delhi University campuses, it can majorly be divided into 3 parts. We have North Campus, we have South Campus, and we have Off Campus, right? So accordingly, whatever course that you're choosing and whatever subject combination that you're choosing, whichever would fit for whatever college, you need to fill in your preferences according to that. Okay, now this is very, very important. Pay attention to this part. The candidate will first map their CUET UG 22 test papers or subject with the subjects that she or he has passed in class 12th boards. Now this line is extremely important. What does that mean? This means that whatever subjects that you had in your 12th standard, in your 12th boards, you need to map the scores of the same with your CUET scores. Now for example, let's say there is somebody who is from a commerce stream, okay, somebody who had commerce in their 12th standard. So the basic subjects would have been what? Accounts, it would have been economics, and it would have been business studies. So these are the 3 subjects, major subjects that you appeared for in your 12th boards, right? So for CUET, obviously you would have appeared for these subjects only. What you have to do is you have to compare your scores in your CUET exam and with your plus 2 exams. Now for example, if there's somebody who flung their accounts exam, let's say there's somebody who failed their 12th standard boards in accounts, for that person, even if you did appear for the CUET exam in accounts and you did score a decent score, it will be considered nullified, it will be considered 0. So this is called mapping of the subject, the mapping of the scores. So I'm repeating again so that you are able to understand it better. You are supposed to compare, let's put it this way, supposed to compare your scores of your 12th standard boards and the scores that you've received in your CUET this, and you're supposed to compare both of them together, right? You're supposed to map them. Like I gave you an example, this is how you're supposed to do it. Subjects with the subjects he or she has passed. Now this is very, very important. One thing is appearing, other thing is passing. You're supposed to pass the subjects that you have filled in your CUET exam, okay, and with your board exam. So it has to be passed in class 12th boards. The candidates will be able to see his or her program specific CUET score based on the CUET's normalized score for all the programs in which he or she is eligible. So आपका जो भी स्कोर आया है CUET का, आपका जो भी स्कोर आया है बोर्ड्स का, if you remember in your जब आपने phase 1 fill किया होगा, when you registered yourself for the phase 1 of CSAS, you were supposed to fill in certain documents. You were supposed to fill in your scores for the 10th standard and the 12th standard. So your scores for the 12th standard as well as your scores for CUET is already there with Delhi University. Your scores are already available there. Okay, so they will already appear when you will open the page. Will be able to see his or her program specific CUET score. Program specific CUET score का क्या मतलब है? The domains that you chose, the section 1 and section 3, that is English, whatever language that you chose, and the general test. Apart from that, the domains, the section 2 wherein you made your combinations about various subjects, they will already appear in the form. They will already be there in the normalized score form. Now if you remember, and if you have seen your scorecard, your scores are available to you in two different columns. In one column, the scores are available in your percentile manner, and in your next column, they're available in the normalized manner. Now, you need to understand your admissions to Delhi University, your admissions to different campuses of Delhi University will only be given to you on the basis of your normalized score and not your percentile. So be very clear about it. So normalized score will already be there for all the programs in which he or she is eligible. So whatever programs that you're eligible in, whatever domains that you have chosen, they will already be pre-filled there. You're just supposed to map your scores with the 12th standard as well as the ones that you received in the CUET exam. Let's move ahead. These program-specific CUET scores will be auto-calculated and displayed on the dashboard of the candidate. Like I said, they're already calculated and they will already be displayed on the dashboard when you will enter the phase 2. Okay, when you will enter the section of phase 2. Okay, let's move ahead. Okay. Now, this is also very, very important. Pay keen attention here. Yeah. So, in the subsequent sections, subsequent means the sections after that, in the subsequent sections of preference selection, the candidate can select and order his or her preferences. So, like I said, in phase 2, you basically are supposed to fill in your preferences for different subjects, for different courses, for different colleges. Right? The available preference tab. Now, there are going to be two different tabs. The first is the available preferences tab will display all the possible programs plus the college combinations the candidate may choose from. Now, obviously, if there's somebody who had PCM as the combination, that is physics, chemistry, maths, for them, the courses that they can pursue would be different from somebody who had accounts, business studies, and economics as their preferences. So, of course, they're going to be different. The preferences for each student as per the domains that you chose, as per the courses that you had in your board is going to vary. So, whatever that you are eligible for, जिस भी course के लिए, जिस भी college के लिए आप applicable हैं, आप apply कर सकते हैं, आप eligible हैं, वो already वहाँ पर reflect करेगा for you to choose from them. So you're going to choose your preferences accordingly. Let's say that if I'm somebody who had PCM as a combination, that means I had physics, I had chemistry, I had maths, which were my chosen domains in the CUET exam, and also the domains that I chose for my 12th standard board. So of course, my possible courses would be, I can go ahead and do chemistry honors, I can go ahead and do physics honors, I can go ahead and do maths honors, and subjects like this. So my preferences would vary basis the subjects that I have chosen, basis the stream that I had in my 12th standard, and basis the scores that I have received in the CUET exam, right? So the available preferences में से आप उस tab में से अपनी पसंद के colleges, अपने पसंद के courses going to choose. In addition, the candidate can use the advanced filter option available at the top to filter the colleges as well as the programs. So there are going to be two different tabs. One is going to be the available preferences, wherein all your preferences would be available. And the second one will be the advanced filter, wherein you can change the preferences accordingly, right? The candidate will have to choose and order the preferences as per his or her choice. The order to selection will also determine the preference order. Now here, what you need to keep in mind is the order of preference is very, very important. Now let's say that on number 1, you had put one particular college as your preference. In number 2, you chose some other preference in number 3. So the same sequence will be followed when the colleges would be allotted to you. Now a good example that I can give to you to relate for this is, let's say that I'm pretty sure none of you would have, or some of you might have filled a competitive exam. So what happens is when you're filling in a competitive exam, you're given a preference to choose the area जहाँ से आप paper देना चाहते हैं. Let's say that you're somebody who's residing in Chandigarh, okay, you're a resident of Chandigarh. So when you're supposed to fill in the preferences of area from where you want to give your exam, so you are given 3 options. So of course, option 1 you will keep Chandigarh because that is closer to your place, closer to your house, right? Apart from that, second preference you can keep Mohali, third preference you can keep say Panchkula. Okay, so you have put your preferences in order of how you want them to be, right? So the first preference, that is Chandigarh, would only be considered or would be given the most priority when they're allocating the seats to you, allocating the locations to you to give the exam. So the same it is going to be here also. Your order of preference is going to be very, very important. The candidate can use top bottom preference number icon to record his or her preferences. The final order of preferences as filled and saved will then be reflected in the selected preferences tab. So जो भी आपने choose करा है, whatever that you have chosen in whatever order will appear under the tab of selected preferences. Once satisfied with the preference order, the candidate must save changes to submit his or her preferences. Now here what you have to keep in mind is you can change your preferences, the order of your preferences, ample amount of times. जितनी बार भी आप चाहें आप अपने preference का sequence change कर सकते हैं, right? But until and unless you don't click the save changes button, it will not be saved, and once you have saved your preferences, they will be locked and then you cannot make any changes in this. So one thing you need to keep in mind, but you have a lot of time with you, okay? The phase 2 registrations or the filling of the form is going to continue till 10th of October. So you have a lot of time during that. So don't go ahead and save your preferences right away. Take your time, do your research, and another very important thing, fill in maximum preferences that you can. जितनी preferences आप भर सकते हैं colleges की, courses की, जो भी जिसके लिए भी आप eligible है, go ahead and choose all of them. Okay, because you have ample of time. And another important thing, once it is saved, you cannot change it. It is not like a CUET form wherein you can go ahead and make amendments. You're not going to get a correction window. Once you have submitted, once you have saved your preferences, you cannot make any changes in that. So be very clear about it. Take your time, do your research, like I said, and choose maximum preferences. जितना preferences आप भर सकते हैं, जितने colleges आप भर सकते हैं, जितने course combination आप भर सकते हैं, सब भरिए. Okay? Do not think कि I am somebody जी मुझे तो I want admission in North Campus only, so I would not choose South Campus. I won't choose off campus. No, don't do it like that. Put it in your preferences. अगर आपका मन है, if you're somebody who wants to go to North Campus first, तो आप first preference में North Campus रख दीजिए. पर if you are eligible to get admissions into the colleges falling under South Campus, do put them as a preference also. Okay, it is advisable, now this is also very, very important, it is advisable to choose maximum number of preferences as adding or editing the programs and colleges after the deadline for the preference filling phase will not be allowed. You will not be able to edit your edit your preferences, edit your your desire to go into a particular college. You cannot do that once you have saved the changes or once the deadline is over. That is 10th of October, right? So make sure that you're doing your research, you're filling in your preferences accordingly. Another important thing, don't go ahead and fill in the form in one go कि आपने आज खोला और आप आज ही form भर रहे हैं. Don't do that. Take your time, you have a lot of time, do your research, talk to people, the friends around, if there's somebody who, your classmates, do your research properly and then fill in your preferences. Okay, let's move a little bit ahead. Let's see here. Yeah, so we have done this. Phase 1 and phase 2 of CSAS UG will remain open till Monday, that is 10th of October. So phase 1, that is registration. Phase 2, that is preference filling. Both of these windows will stay open till 10th of October. Right? Phase 1, so I would suggest that if you have not yet filled in you have not yet registered yourself under phase 1, please go ahead and do it today. Okay, because your phase 2 is going to take a lot of time, and until and unless you don't have the portal opened in front of you, you would not know how to go ahead and work with it, right? So fill in your preferences carefully, and go ahead and fill in your phase 1 right now. Register yourself for phase 1 right now. Do not delay it. All right. Okay, so of course now I understand, because the process is taking place for the very first time. The CUET exam took place for the very first time. This entire process is really new for the parents as well as for the students, and not everybody has 100% clarity on that. So just to make things clearer for you, the University of Delhi will also be conducting a series of public awareness webinars from Tuesday, that is from today onwards, till to orient onwards 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. to orient the candidates on the CSAS UG 2022. So they're going to be some of the seminars. One of them will be taking place today from 3 to 4 p.m. Okay, and today's will be explaining UG admissions under CSAS. So you can go ahead and attend this if you want more clarity, right? Tomorrow there will be one on undergraduate curriculum framework 2022. Day after tomorrow it is going to be admissions under extracurricular activities and sports supernumerary quota. Now there are certain quotas, the people who fall under the sports quota, so for them there's going to be a separate webinar to make you people well aware about it. And then of course on Monday, that is 3rd of October, we're going to have admissions under non-collegible women candidate board. So uske liye webinar hoga. So you can go ahead and attend these webinars for better understanding. So these webinars will be streaming live on the official YouTube channel of the University of Delhi. So what is the takeaway from this entire notice that I have read out for you? First of all, if you have not appeared for the CUET exam, you cannot go ahead and go ahead with the CSAS process. CUET is the minimum qualification criteria, not even qualification, minimum criteria that you need to go ahead, the eligibility criteria for which you can appear yourself for the CSAS process. Second thing, make sure that you're registering yourself for phase 1. However, the deadline for phase 1 and phase 2 is going to be 10th of October, but don't wait for the last moment. Okay, fill in the registration form to show interest that you want to get admissions into the various colleges and the courses falling under the Delhi University. Second thing, phase 2 has already begun. It will be continuing till 10th of October. Fill in your preferences very wisely. दो चीजें हैं, fill in your preferences very wisely and choose maximum amount of preferences. जितना preferences आप भर सकते हैं उतना भरिए. Don't be under this dilemma कि नहीं भाई मुझे तो I just want a college in North Campus, so I will not fill in my preferences for South Campus. There is no harm in filling as many preferences as you can. Okay, third thing, you need to map your scores, your 12th standard scores with the scores that you have received in the CUET exam. Okay, now to make things more clear for you, I understand just saying verbally, reading a press release for you is not an easy way to go about with it. So we are going to do another live tomorrow wherein we'll be filling in a application form for you people, so that you know how you can go ahead and do it. My suggestion again would be for you to not to save your preferences right away. Take your time, fill in the form slowly, steadily. Take 3-4 days to fill in the form, because there is no hurry. And also, like I said, your preferences, you can switch as many times as you want. You can switch the order, you can shuffle the order as many times as you want. But once you have saved it, you cannot change it further. You cannot change the sequence of your preferences or add a preference or deduct a preference once you have saved the entire application form. So don't go ahead and do it. Take your time, be slow and steady in the entire process. Do your research very, very properly. Okay, and also one more important thing, there are a lot of not correct information being floating either on the YouTube channel or on the internet, so be aware about that. Trust your sources from where you're collecting your information, from where you're collecting your data, and go ahead and go about with it. Okay, if you have any further questions, any further queries about the same, please feel free to put them in the comment section. We'll be more than happy to help you out with it. And like I said, we will be coming back with another live tomorrow, wherein we will be filling in an application form for you, for phase 2 basically, so that you know how you're supposed to choose your preferences and go ahead about it. Okay, if you like the video, please press the like button, subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any update, and we'll catch you soon tomorrow. Till then, please make sure that you've filled in your phase 1, you have completed your phase 1, so that tomorrow all of us together can go ahead and do the phase 2. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.